Hello Army, welcome back to my channel. If you've been following everything happening with BTS this year, then you already know just how packed with milestones this comeback era has been. From the historic World Cup final halftime show, to that jersey-generating headline-grabbing bidding at a charity auction, to Samsung featuring Jimin in their newest AI technology demonstration, this has genuinely been one of the most eventful years of the group's entire career. And now, we get to add another genuinely significant milestone to that already impressive list, because BTS just won Album of the Year, the daesang, the highest possible honor, at the 2026 Kilometers Chart Awards, for their comeback album ARIRANG. Let's break down exactly what happened, why this particular award carries so much emotional weight, and what it means for Jimin and the rest of the group at this specific point in their career. So let's start with the basics of what actually happened at this award ceremony, because understanding the full context here really helps illustrate just how significant this moment is. The 2026 Kilometers Chart Awards, commonly known as KMA, took place on July 25 at Korea University's Hwajeong Tiger Dome in Seoul. This annual ceremony celebrates the biggest achievements in Korean music over the past year, drawing from a combination of chart performance, album sales, music show achievements, and global fan voting to determine its winners. It's one of the most prestigious award shows within the entire K-pop industry, and the daesang, or grand prize, categories represent the absolute highest honors any artist or group can receive at this ceremony. This year's ceremony handed out 4 separate daesang awards across different categories. Tomorrow X Together took home Artist of the Year, becoming the night's biggest overall winner with a total of 5 awards, including 2 determined entirely through fan voting. Mamamoo Wasa won Song of the Year for her hit Good Goodbye, marking her second career daesang and her first as a solo artist. Rookie group Cortis secured Record of the Year for their EP GREN, an impressive achievement considering how recently they debuted. And BTS took home the 4th daesang of the night, Album of the Year, for their comeback album ARIRANG. Now, before we get into why this specific win carries so much significance, let's take a moment to properly contextualize what ARIRANG actually represents within the broader story of BTS's career. This album marks something genuinely historic for the group, their first full group album released since all 7 members completed their mandatory military service. If you've been following this channel for any length of time, you already know just how significant that military service period has been within the broader narrative of BTS's recent history. Every single member of the group had to individually fulfill South Korea's mandatory military service requirement, a process that took years to complete across all 7 members, effectively pausing the group's activities as a complete unit for an extended period. So when ARIRANG finally arrived, it represented so much more than just another album release. It represented the actual, tangible return of BTS as a fully reunited group, marking the beginning of this entirely new chapter in their career following that lengthy period of individual service and separation. And the commercial numbers behind this album tell an incredibly compelling story about just how successful that reunion has been. ARIRANG, released as the group's 5th studio album, sold 4.17 million copies within its very first week of release alone. Let's really sit with that number for a second, because in an era where physical album sales have generally been declining across the broader music industry, moving over 4 million physical copies within a single week represents an absolutely massive commercial achievement, one that speaks volumes about just how much pent-up demand and excitement had been building among fans throughout this extended period of individual member activities and military service commitments. The album's lead single, Swim, also achieved its own impressive milestone, topping the daily top songs global chart on Spotify for 6 consecutive days following its release. That kind of sustained chart dominance on a platform as massive and globally reaching as Spotify further reinforces just how significant this comeback moment has been, not just within Korea specifically, but across the entire global music landscape. Let's talk about why winning Album of the Year at this particular ceremony carries such profound emotional and symbolic weight, beyond just the impressive commercial numbers themselves. This award effectively serves as an official industry recognition that ARIRANG wasn't just a successful comeback in terms of raw sales figures, but a genuinely significant artistic and cultural achievement in its own right. Winning Album of the Year means that, among every single album released by every artist across the entire Korean music industry over the past year, ARIRANG was recognized as the single best overall body of work. That's an incredibly high bar to clear, especially considering just how competitive and prolific the K-pop industry has become, with countless groups and solo artists releasing new music throughout any given year. Let's also think about the deeper thematic significance behind this particular album, because ARIRANG carries meaning that extends well beyond just being a strong commercial and artistic comeback. The album's very title references ARIRANG, a traditional Korean folk song that holds deep cultural significance as an unofficial anthem of Korean identity and heritage, recognized by UNESCO as part of humanity's intangible cultural heritage. Choosing to name their post-military service comeback album after this deeply meaningful piece of Korean cultural heritage speaks to something genuinely profound about how BTS approached this particular chapter of their career, weaving together themes of identity, origin, and reunion into the very foundation of this project. Beyond its commercial achievements, this album carries a genuinely meaningful message about identity, origin, and the experience of this group reconnecting with both their roots and with each other following that extended period of individual service. Winning Album of the Year proves that ARIRANG represents so much more than just a successful comeback release. It represents BTS reconnecting with their roots while simultaneously opening an important new chapter as 7 reunited members, and the fact that this deeper thematic and emotional resonance was recognized alongside the album's commercial success makes this particular award feel especially meaningful within the broader arc of the group's career. Let's think about what this moment specifically means for Jimin, given everything he's personally experienced throughout this entire military service and comeback journey. Like every other member of BTS, Jimin had to individually complete his own mandatory military service commitment, a period that took him away from the group's collective activities and from the massive global stage he'd become accustomed to performing on throughout BTS's meteoric rise to international superstardom. Returning from that experience, and immediately diving into this incredibly ambitious comeback era, culminating in achievements like this Album of the Year win, represents a genuinely significant personal and professional milestone within his individual journey as an artist. Think about the emotional arc of that entire experience. Years of individual military service, stepping away from the stage and the spotlight that had defined so much of his life and career up to that point, followed by this remarkable return, not just back to performing, but immediately hitting historic milestone after historic milestone alongside his bandmates. From this record-breaking album release, to that historic World Cup final halftime show performance we've covered extensively on this channel, to now this Album of the Year recognition at one of Korea's most prestigious music award ceremonies, Jimin's post-military service comeback has been defined by this remarkable, sustained string of achievements that speaks to just how successfully he and the rest of BTS have managed to reintegrate back into the highest levels of the music industry. Following that extended period away. Let's also touch on the broader context of how this award fits within the sequence of milestones we've already discussed extensively on this channel throughout this incredibly eventful year. We've talked about the historic nature of BTS's World Cup final halftime show appearance, about that wonderfully viral IShowSpeed backstage moment, about the counterfeit jersey situation and subsequent charity auction success, and about Samsung specifically featuring Jimin in their newest AI technology demonstration. Each of these individual milestones would already represent a significant achievement on their own, but the fact that they've all happened within essentially the same calendar year, alongside this additional recognition of ARIRANG as Album of the Year, paints an incredibly comprehensive picture of just how remarkable this particular period has been within the broader story of BTS's career and Jimin's individual journey specifically. Let's spend some time thinking about why this Album of the Year recognition specifically resonates so strongly within the broader narrative of BTS's comeback story. Unlike some of the other milestones we've discussed this year, which have primarily centered around individual performance moments or cultural crossover events, this award represents something slightly different, a formal, industry-wide recognition of the actual artistic quality and cultural significance of their comeback work itself. It's one thing to sell millions of copies of an album, or to dominate streaming charts for days at a time. It's another thing entirely to have that same body of work formally recognized as the single best album released across the entire Korean music industry over the past year, evaluated alongside the deeper thematic and emotional resonance that ARIRANG carries within its broader concept and message. Let's also talk about the significance of BTS achieving this daesang win specifically at this stage of their career, having already accomplished essentially every major milestone one could imagine within the K-pop industry throughout their earlier years of activity. Groups that have already achieved this level of sustained, historic success sometimes find it increasingly difficult to continue generating this kind of critical and commercial recognition years into their career, especially following an extended hiatus period like the one BTS experienced during their collective military service commitments. The fact that they were able to return from that extended break and immediately reclaim this level of industry recognition, essentially picking up right where they left off in terms of both commercial success and artistic acclaim, speaks to something genuinely remarkable about the sustained strength of their connection with both the Korean music industry establishment and their global fanbase more broadly. Let's also think about what this particular daesang win might mean for how BTS approaches the remainder of this current comeback era moving forward. Having already achieved this level of formal industry recognition for ARIRANG, alongside all of the other massive milestones we've discussed throughout this year, there's a real sense that BTS has successfully re-established themselves at the absolute pinnacle of both the Korean and global music industries, following that extended period of individual member activities in military service. This kind of comprehensive validation, spanning commercial success, cultural crossover moments, and now this formal artistic recognition through Album of the Year, sets an incredibly strong foundation for whatever comes next in this group's ongoing career trajectory. Let's also touch on the broader significance of this award within the context of BTS's entire discography and career history up to this point. ARIRANG represents their 6th Korean-language studio album and 10th overall studio album, a genuinely substantial body of work built up over more than a decade of consistent musical output. Winning Album of the Year for this particular project, specifically because it represents their post-military service comeback, adds an additional layer of significance beyond what a similar award might have meant at an earlier point in their career. This isn't just recognition for another strong album within an already impressive catalog. It's recognition specifically tied to this pivotal moment of reunion and return, following one of the most significant challenges and disruptions the group has faced throughout their entire career together. Let's think about the broader emotional resonance this kind of achievement likely carries for the members personally, beyond just the professional and commercial significance we've already discussed. Returning from military service and immediately achieving this level of continued success and recognition likely carries genuine personal meaning for each member individually, serving as confirmation that the connection they've built with both the industry and their global fanbase over the years has remained genuinely strong, even through this extended period of individual separation and service commitments. For Jimin specifically, this kind of validation likely carries particular significance given everything we've already discussed about his own personal journey through this entire comeback era. Let's also spend some time discussing the significance of this award within the broader landscape of the current K-pop industry more generally, because I think it's worth appreciating just how competitive and crowded this particular space has become. With rookie groups like Cortis achieving their own daesang recognition just months after debuting, and established groups like Tomorrow X Together continuing to dominate multiple award categories, the overall K-pop landscape remains incredibly competitive and dynamic. Within that context, BTS achieving Album of the Year recognition for their comeback project, following an extended absence from the group's collective activities, represents an especially impressive achievement, demonstrating that their established position at the very top of this industry remains genuinely secure even after years away from active group promotion. Let's also touch on the broader cultural significance of this achievement extending beyond just the K-pop industry specifically. Given BTS's genuinely massive global fanbase and their established position as one of the most commercially and culturally significant musical acts on the entire planet, this Album of the Year recognition likely resonates with audiences well beyond just dedicated K-pop fans specifically. It represents another data point in the broader narrative of this group's continued relevance and success, even years into their career and following this significant military service-related disruption to their collective activities. Let's think about what this moment might mean for fans specifically, beyond just the general excitement of seeing BTS recognized with this prestigious award. For dedicated fans who have supported this group through every stage of their journey, including that extended, sometimes difficult period of individual military service commitments and uncertainty about exactly when and how the group would eventually reunite, seeing ARIRANG receive this kind of formal industry recognition likely carries genuine emotional significance. It represents confirmation that the wait, and the continued support throughout the challenging period, ultimately led to exactly the kind of successful, celebrated comeback that fans had been hoping for throughout those years of individual member activities. Let's also spend a moment thinking about the broader significance of this award within the context of everything else happening at this particular award ceremony. With 4 separate daesang categories being awarded across different aspects of the industry, from individual song performance, to overall artist recognition, to rookie achievement, to album quality specifically, BTS's win in this Album of the Year category represents recognition specifically tied to the overall artistic merit and cohesive vision behind their comeback project as a complete body of work, rather than recognition tied to any single song or individual chart performance metric. Let's also touch on how this achievement fits within the broader pattern we've observed throughout this entire comeback year, of BTS and its individual members continuing to achieve historic milestone after historic milestone across an incredibly wide range of different contexts and industries. From this formal music industry recognition, to that historic World Cup final halftime show appearance, to major technology brand partnerships, to headline-generating charity auction success, this has genuinely been a comeback era defined by consistent, sustained achievement across virtually every measure of success one could imagine within the modern entertainment industry. Let's wrap up by recapping everything we've discussed today regarding this genuinely significant Album of the Year win. At the 2026 Kilometers Chart Awards, held on July 25 at Korea University's Hwajeong Tiger Dome in Seoul, BTS took home the daesang for Album of the Year, recognizing their comeback album ARIRANG, their first full group album released since all 7 members completed their mandatory military service. The album sold 4.17 million copies within its first week of release, with lead single Swim topping Spotify's daily top songs global chart for 6 consecutive days. Beyond these impressive commercial achievements, ARIRANG carries deep thematic significance, drawing its name from the traditional Korean folk song recognized by UNESCO as part of humanity's intangible cultural heritage, weaving together powerful themes of identity, origin, and reunion throughout its overall concept and message. This Album of the Year recognition represents a genuinely significant milestone within the broader story of BTS's post-military service comeback era, formally validating not just the commercial success of their return, but the deeper artistic and cultural significance of this particular project within the context of their reunion as a complete group. For Jimin specifically, this achievement adds yet another meaningful milestone to what has already been an extraordinarily eventful year, following his own personal journey through military service and back to the absolute highest levels of both commercial and critical success within the music industry. This entire story, connecting back through everything we've already discussed regarding this remarkable comeback year, really does illustrate just how comprehensively and successfully BTS has managed to re-establish themselves following that extended period of individual member service commitments. From formal industry recognition like this Album of the Year win, to massive cultural crossover moments like the World Cup halftime show, to continued brand partnership success with companies like Samsung, this has genuinely been a comeback defined by achievement across virtually every possible measure of success within the modern entertainment landscape. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. If you enjoyed this breakdown of BTS's Album of the Year win at the 2026 Kilometers Chart Awards, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update like this one in the future. Drop a comment down below letting me know what you think about this achievement, and about ARIRANG as an album more broadly, particularly if you've had a chance to listen through the entire project and experience the deeper thematic significance behind its overall concept and message. As always, thank you for being here, thank you for your continued support, and I'll see you in the next video.